Hello and welcome to the Repurpose Your Purpose podcast. My name is Aurora Minigallo, and this podcast is for you if you want to do work you love or you're already doing it and are looking for ideas on how to grow in the direction of your vision. So, there's been something on my mind lately, which is the insecurity that very often first time business owners experience, especially business owners who are solopreneurs who work work with something that's very meaningful to them on a personal level. What do I mean? Well, I've noticed. I mean, it's not super new, but somehow it's been really catching my attention lately. I've noticed, how the a lot of the time there's a big concern about, I want to grow my business, I'm starting my business, but I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to talk about myself, right? And so there is this insecurity that comes because of the fear of being out there. There is so much I want to say about this. The first thing is that I really, really disagree with this push for everybody to do social media marketing, being out there, and so forth. And here are the reasons why. Number one, the people that I see doing well in business is not because, with very few exceptions, they have a really good social media marketing game. It's because they deliver a product or a service that people genuinely need, are good at what they do, and they're reliable with their delivery. Okay? In other words, a business is it's sort of like think about it. When you want, I don't know, good pizza or good coffee, right? You want to know that the coffee is good. You want to go there, you want to know where they're open, and you want to know that they can reliably get you the cup of coffee. And then yes, some places maybe you like the atmosphere more, some places you like the price more, some place is really convenient to where you live, right? But essentially that's the business. Okay. Now, maybe a coffee shop is really catching your attention because of their great Instagram game. So there is that too sometimes, but most of the time, that's not going to be the case. It's the same for all businesses. I think we're really doing a disservice by constantly putting out this story that everybody has to be very visible, everything has to be about you, everything has to be online, social media, and so forth, okay? The other reason why I disagree with this is because it's kind of a little bit also personality. Like for some people, they energetically pull people with their presence. But for some other people, that's not where their strength is. Okay. And on top of that, if you don't like the marketing you have to do, you're probably not gonna get great at it and you're probably not gonna keep doing it. So it's really important too that you really look at what are all your options for marketing and choose something that you like. Okay, or at least that you dislike the least. All right, so but going back to this insecurity, it's it's really tricky because I feel like, especially the first time that you're in business, and especially if your service is something very personal to you, like art, like coaching, like something where you feel like you're really putting your heart and soul in it, you're doing it more because it's a calling. um I think that the insecurity is just a normal stage of starting a business for a lot of people. Maybe not for you, so that's great. If you can skip that, good. But I think for most of us, there is a stage of insecurity. And so I want to offer a few things to you to help you go through this with a little bit less distress, because you will get through it and you will become confident over time. or at least not as self-conscious. So the first thing is to understand that the role of marketing, whether you choose to do social media, whether you choose to do, to be on video, anything you choose, is really to let people know what you're providing and to make an invitation to let them know that it's available to them. It's not to convince people, it's not to like try to be cool, all of that. So the more the marketing is a reflection of what you provide in an authentic way, the more likely there will be a match. Okay, now yes, we can go into marketing tactics and all of that, but I think it's really important to understand that that is the real strength and basis of all marketing. And so I know, more than one business owner, solopreneur, who didn't or doesn't have a very good marketing game online, but they found a way that works for them to connect with people, to provide value, to invite somebody to what they're creating. And it's worked really well because the people who take them up on it get good results through their work. The second thing, and this is something that I can share from my own personal, experience. All of this, quite frankly, a lot of what I'm talking about, I experienced a lot of insecurity. It's just that it was a long, long time ago for me. So I'm past that, because I started a long time ago, especially with my photography business, which was my first one. So if you work closely with people, whatever you're doing, right? For example, I'm a coach, so I work closely with my clients. Let me start again. If you work closely with people, for example, I'm a coach, so I work closely, of course, with my clients. But even when I was a photographer, I was a wedding photographer. So then, if you hire me for 8, 10, 12 hours of your wedding, I would be around, right? Like you have your wedding photographer around all the time. It's important that people get a sense of who you are as a service provider and that you let them choose based on what also resonates with them. So, for me, recording these videos or doing little events or things like that, it's also, yes, people can experience what I do or maybe hear some of my ideas, right? But you get a sense of what it's like to talk to me. This is what I look like when I talk to you. This is what I sound like, right? Like, I listen a lot more when it's not just me talking on the podcast like I'm doing right now. But essentially, if you show up here and you don't like what I'm saying and you don't have a feeling about wanting to work with me, like, that's okay. And vice versa, right? I've had clients that found me through something I wrote or a little event they came to, and then they had a good feeling. So I felt like, okay, yeah, let's work together. So I really want to invite you to think less about yourself in a way. Like, I think the insecurity comes from a lot of self-consciousness, thinking that it's about you, but it's really not about you. Whatever you're providing, somebody's looking for it, somebody needs it. And what you're putting out there is a way for them to, get a sense of who you are and what you're up to. It's not about you in that sense. I always like to use food places analysis because I think metaphors or comparisons, because examples, because I feel like we're all familiar with them, and also we can see how it works on a very, again, basic level. If I opened a new bakery in the neighborhood, I would want to put out some little samples, and invite people to try, right? It's not about, oh, they'll judge me because, maybe my cake is not good. It's like, well, I kind of need to know, that they like it, and I want people to try a little sample, because if they like it, they'll buy a cake, and if they don't like it, they won't buy it. That's okay. Not everybody, likes all cakes. Some people, in fact, don't even like sweets. So there you go. Right? So I think you want to see that this insecure thinking has a lot to do with self-consciousness, and you're more concerned about yourself than anybody that is gonna look at you probably is, okay? And also that there might be something about you have to convince people, or you're gonna, push them to work with you, which is really not the case. You can be really laid back and relaxed. The other thing about insecurity that comes up is that sometimes it's an identity thing. So you know, I went about very differently my photography business and the coaching business. With photography, for me, it was years before I felt comfortable thinking of myself as a photographer. I think it's a bit maybe of an artist thing, but really even the thought of saying I'm an artist, it was many years. It was very like, I had a lot of insecurity. It was very anxiety provoking, okay? My view of that is that I think the more of a big deal we make of an identity, the more insecure we're gonna get about it. So in my mind, being an artist was like a really important thing. And then, of course, if I failed was a really horrible thing. So I felt very like all of this was anxiety, insecurity, what might happen, whatever. So if you're afraid, if you feel a lot of insecurity around this, starting your business, I would really look at it. Are you making it into a big deal? Do you have some identity that you feel really attached to, and you're really afraid to fail, and then what will that mean about you? And just realize that it doesn't have to be that way. We all start not being as good as we're gonna become, hopefully, right? Growing to our profession. Everybody learns on the job some things. We all make mistakes. You probably can trust yourself to not make some, gigantic mistake. I think you want to really look at how much importance you're giving this, and how much you're making it mean about you and the identity and all of that. And you want to be very gentle with yourself, go step by step, but also let go of a lot of that thinking and bring it back to basics. Like, what do I feel that I can genuinely offer that will help, and be honest about it, and build your business step by step. With coaching, because I had already experienced my photography business, see, I embrace this philosophy that I'm sharing with you. So first of all, I only use the word coach because that's basically like the category I'm in. But if you know my story, like where I really started is I had an idea of how I could help people changing careers because they didn't know, when they don't know what they want to do, which is still what I do. And that's what I put out there. And I was just very honest. I didn't call myself a coach for like, I think 2 or 3 years maybe. And people would always tell me, oh, you're a coach, But I didn't even use that word, because what I was doing is, no, I actually, what I do is help people change careers when they're not sure what they want to do next. I will teach you something. I will support you in some understanding. And that's pretty much what I put out there. And when I was very new, I said, I'm very new, so I'm just testing this out, I'm not even doing it for money. I'm trying that. When I felt a little bit more confident, I charged a little bit. Then when I felt a little bit more confident, I said, okay, this is how much it is and how it works and so forth. So because I learned, and I didn't have anything about being a coach. So when I was a photographer, I had a big thing about being an artist. All my life I wanted. It has so much meaning to me. I don't come from a supportive environment, so I felt like all that trauma from growing up and all these things. So there was so much stuff in there. The feelings were gigantic. But when I went into this business with Repurpose Your Purpose, I was really like, no, I think I can help some people, and I'm gonna try, and if it works, I'll do it a little bit more. And If I like it, I'll adjust to get better, and if it doesn't work, oh well, it's okay. I guess I'll do something else. I mean, I didn't have all this thinking about it. And that freed me up. And, I could be with it. I could be step by step. It was more gentle. So, if you're new to business and if you're doing something that you're really passionate about and you really care about, my heart is with you. Okay, it's a very, very courageous, brave thing to do. And I want you to know, no matter how it ends up being, you're gonna learn a ton and you're really gonna change and grow with that. So congratulations on taking this step. Don't let this insecurity overwhelm you. And in fact, if you can, see more and more as it's just some thinking that's coming up. And if you can drop behind it and start getting here in on the ground with what's in front of you, and just worry about, not even worry, that's not even the word I want to say, what I use, but if you just can be with, okay, business is providing a service or a product for somebody that's looking for that service or product, or that solves the problem for somebody that's looking to solve a certain problem, right? You stay with that, you get very down to earth, you share what you're doing, you invite people, and you show up authentically. That's all you need. And you can adjust and iterate as you go. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. My name is Aurora Menegallo. You can check out more about what I do at repurposeyourpurpose.com, and I'll see you next time.